Hello and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the top news of the day and explain why it matters. I'm Haryanto Diman, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. Fresh clashes erupted in Hong Kong earlier today as netizens appealed for help for hundreds of protesters still in Polytechnic University. Telegram group chats were abuzz with calls for people to help divert police attention from the Hung Hom campus so that protesters could evade police arrest upon leaving the university. Anti-government protesters have been locked in a standoff with police at Polytechnic University since Sunday. They threw petrol bombs and bricks from improvised catapults, while the police retaliated with tear gas and water cannon. We'll cross over live to our Hong Kong correspondent right now, Claire Huang, for the latest. Claire, hi.
Hi, Haryanto.
Hi, Claire. If you could tell us, what's the latest situation between the standoff with police and the protesters?
Hundreds of protesters, many of them said to be injured, remain trapped in Polytechnic University or PolyU at the moment. They've tried unsuccessfully 3 times so far today to escape amid the thick smoke of tear gas, because the police have been firing rounds of tear gas using water cannon and so on. So one group of protesters are now blocking roads and battling police in Tsim Sha Tsui near PolyU in an attempt to divert police attention away from the campus. And another group is trying to advance to PolyU through Jordan to save those trapped. Now, police have said that they did not raid the Hung Hom campus that is next to the Cross Harbour Tunnel. They said they did not prevent protesters from leaving the campus despite calls for protesters to do so. And at around 2 p.m., the police said they have arranged for Red Cross volunteers to go into PolyU to tend to those injured. Now, this comes after they nabbed this morning dozens of first aid volunteers who helped the protesters. Now, the police said those arrested were found not to be medically trained nor certified. So the working crowd is starting to knock off. And in the past hours earlier, there have been calls for people to head to PolyU vicinity as well as Tsim Sha Tsui. Some parents and school heads have made emotional pleas to the authorities because they say that the children are caught up in the PolyU police siege. So they're asking for those students to be allowed to leave unharmed. And some about 20 secondary schools principals have urged the government to arrange for them to go into the university campus, saying they believe that 100 children were trapped among the hundreds of protesters there.
Yeah, Claire, the situation really does sound quite serious there. Now let's focus on a ruling by the High Court today. Now the High Court today ruled that the mask ban introduced under emergency powers last month is unconstitutional. What does this mean for the authorities now?
So basically, the judicial review found that the anti-mask law is incompatible with the basic law, that restrictions the new face mask law imposes on people's fundamental rights are more than what is necessary. The High Court said that the judgment does not mean that the law is objectionable or unconstitutional. It stressed, I quote, "We consider it to be clear that the measure adopted exceeds what is reasonably necessary to achieve the aim of law enforcement, investigation and prosecution of violent protesters, even in the prevailing turbulent circumstances in Hong Kong, and that it fails to strike a reasonable balance between the societal benefits promoted and the inroads made into the protected rights," unquote.
And Claire, of course, for the first time as well, Chinese soldiers were sent out to the streets to help with cleanup efforts on Saturday. That seemed pretty harmless, but it attracted some criticism. Can you tell us why?
I think there is a fear that, one part of why this movement has grown is because of fears of China and how it is tightening its grip on Hong Kong. So with the PLA, with the troops coming out to, do cleanup, there are also fears that, does it signal that it is okay to do this in Hong Kong territory, because it's one country, two systems. So it's supposed to be clear cut. It's supposed to be independent of each other in that sense. So for them to come to Hong Kong grounds, soil to do this, does it mean that it raises a lot of questions and a lot of doubts, among protesters and among people.
Now, thank you, Claire, for giving us the latest on the situation in Hong Kong. And of course, as always, do stay safe. Now, you can follow Claire on Twitter and our website, straitstimes.com, to be updated with the latest on the Hong Kong protest.